A Texas state agency is using taxpayer dollars to promote woke gender ideology inside the workplace. Plus, another candidate has stepped forward to run for RNC Committeewoman. I'm Brandon Waltons. This is the headline. Have you ever been stuck in traffic on a Texas highway all because of some never-ending construction project? Yes, I-35, I'm talking to you. Well, it might be because the Texas Department of Transportation is too concerned with woke ideology rather than actually doing their function. Here to talk about a new investigative report from Texas Scorecard, we have Soli Rice. Soli, we had this story, a series of stories, and it's actually been kind of interesting to see where literally just based off of one whistleblower inside the Texas Department of Transportation, they said, look, there's some kind of woke gender ideology things happening inside this agency. What did we do next? How did we find this out?
Right. So, yeah, I mean, I just kind of was on a phone call with this whistleblower, and they had told me, I mean, pretty much all they had said was, well, some of my employers are including preferred pronouns in their email signatures. And I just noticed that state agencies all around are becoming more and more woke. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to look into this. And he was like, I would really appreciate that. And so I started off by just kind of getting an open records request under the Public Information Act set up and sent it out to them, and was kind of interested in diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as the pronouns and everything. Went ahead and sent that to them. And then they went straight to the Attorney General's office.
Yes, and essentially, which sort of raised alarms here because, okay, so they're trying to hide something. They go to the Attorney General. You report on that. Immediately, once they start getting some heat, they decide to take that back and just give over the records. And what you found was pretty shocking. It was even more than we thought we were going to see. Right,
exactly. Yeah, I know I had sent out the open records request, and then I think it was exactly 10 days after they appealed, and I wrote about it literally the next day. They were like, we withdrew our repeal, and here's all the documents that we have. And I mean, it was communications that include, of course, the preferred pronouns in certain email signatures, and of course, their government designated emails. And then it include employee resources groups that have to do with DEI and wokeism and LGBT pride and everything. And then include taxpayer dollars is going to these employee resources groups as well. And it was just kind of very interesting to look into this and be okay, so taxpayer dollars are going towards funding wokeism.
Right. So I want to talk about these employee resource groups. I think this is the most interesting thing. These are essentially these self-segregated groups that are meeting during lunch hours, sometimes, on the taxpayers' time, right? And one of those groups, we have a new report out this week, is hosting a regular, what is it called? Pride trivia, LGBT pride trivia.
Yeah. So it's, they are racial or gender segregation groups, and, people can sign up for these. And I actually had a separate whistleblower email me. And this whistleblower was like, I get these emails from the LGBT resource group, and they are having a pride trivia that they host during lunch hours. So it's not technically on paid time, but they are using taxpayer-funded, government-issued devices to partake in this trivia. And I mean, this trivia has to do with bicentennial is one of the names, and that has to do with anybody that's bi. This is some of the questions. Is just celebrating people that are bi in the community.
Yeah, there was a whole category on Ricky Martin.
Right. Yeah, specifically because of his gayness and his proud homosexual self-identity or whatever. So I mean, it was an interesting trivia.
Yeah, pretty shocking stuff. Now, I think the most interesting thing here, too, going forward is, okay, this is one state agency, hires a lot of people, thousands of people are employed by this agency. The question is, is this happening in other state agencies?
Right. And that's my question too. I've sent out about 20 more open records requests to several state agencies across Texas, just trying to figure out if anybody else has these sort of employee resources groups or are funding wokeness with taxpayer dollars. I've sent out more open records requests to TxDOT, and they have once again appealed to the Attorney General. So,
well, we look forward to seeing those results when they do come in. Soli, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brandon.
We'll be right back.
If you're not watching the Luke Macias Show, then you are not as engaged as everybody else is in Texas who's trying to make a difference, knowing exactly what's going on so that they can take action on the things that really matter. Guys, watch us on the Roku app for Texas Scorecard. Watch us on YouTube. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Get engaged, get more informed, so together we can actually make a bigger difference on things that matter for the future of Texas. God bless you.
Well, a new candidate has stepped up to challenge incumbent Tony Ann DeShiel for Texas's Republican National Committeewoman, Debbie Georgatos. Debbie, thank you so much for joining. And first off, you can give people a little bit of an idea of your background, how you decided to get involved in politics.
Thank you so much, and thank you for this opportunity to talk with you. I've been very active in Texas politics in Dallas County to start with, and was very involved there with Park City's Republican Women, other Republican women's clubs. I wrote a book in 2012 called Ladies Can We Talk, trying to speak to women voters to encourage them to vote to preserve American-style freedom, to limited government, all the things that really the Republican Party stands for and blesses everyone, all the values of the Republican Party. So I wrote the book Ladies Can We Talk and had quite a few media interviews, and shortly after that, one host, actually a producer in some Atlanta station, called and said, "You have a great voice for radio. You should try radio." So just through a variety of honest to goodness blessings that fell on my lap, I ended up having a show on Salem radio called Ladies Can We Talk. And it was always dedicated to just preserving, it's very substantive and serious about preserving the ideas that make America unique and great and extraordinary. So I did the show at Salem for almost 5 years. And then I ended up going back to a studio in Dallas where they had this organization first had been created my website. It's Real News PR, the website for the book, and decided at the end of 2018 to move my show from Salem Radio over to the studio in Dallas. It is at Real News PR. And since that time, since January 2019, I've been doing the show 4 days a week live at this great studio in Dallas. Prior to moving it over, I changed the name of the show from Ladies Can We Talk to America Can We Talk, at the advice of someone on Salem's board who said you're cutting out half of your audience, which was a good point. So I called the show America Can We Talk. So I've been involved in a Republican Women's Club, worked on campaigns, but on the very serious level of why I do all of this, I love the idea of the unique and great ideas that formed America. I love what the promise of the Declaration mean. I think the foundation of America was revolutionary and still is today. The premise of America that individuals have the right to live in freedom, all of the bases upon which America was created are just extraordinarily important. And during the time that of the Obama administration, it finally kind of dawned on people, I think, that the American left has completely left the American playing field. He and others like him in the American left just really were slowly but surely changing America in a very bad direction. So to finish the story, I still do the show 4 days a week, although this fall I'm probably going to shift back to 2 days a week. And I also host a summit, an annual summit called Women for Freedom. And it's we're having our 4th annual one this fall. We have stellar nationally prominent speakers, and everything I do, the book, the talk show, the summit, it's all about preserving America and inspiring more Americans to recognize it's the job of every generation of Americans to hold on to America, to preserve America. And I think where we are in America today, I think that what the left now stands for in America is really destructive to all the freedoms upon which America was founded. I think we're just a crucial time in American history, and it's time to have more conservatives, more Republicans really call out how dangerous the direction of America is, how far the left has gone in destroying American freedoms. And so that is, the summary of why I wrote my book, do my talk show, do my summit, and why I'm running for RNC Committeewoman. I see the RNC as another vehicle, another way to speak more boldly about the need for conservatives, patriots, Republicans to stand up and speak up for America, to call out what the left is doing to this country and to denounce it as unacceptable in America.
What do you think right now are the biggest problems inside the RNC? There's certainly been criticism of Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel all the way down. What would you do differently?
for one thing, I think just being more bold in the way we say things and the issues we address. You know, the RNC is a vital organization. It is the kind of the business of the party. They have to have fundraisers. They have to connect with the fundraisers. They have to connect between the RNC and the grassroots. They have to do all the things they're doing. But I think the resolutions they support, the platform positions they support, they're all good things. And those are vehicles to make specific policy suggestions. But overall, the party needs to be a more bold voice for conservative values. And I don't think, I don't need more things on my schedule to have more meetings to go to and rub elbows and with important people and cocktail parties. I want the RNC to be a more bold voice for conservative values. And I do think as the RNC spoke up more, I think there would be more actions taken in Washington by elected officials because they more felt like they had the base, they had the party behind them. So I think boldness and speaking up and getting out of being the clubby, elbow rubbing as the only function of the party. I think it's got to be seen as a force in the fight to preserve America.
Last question. Where can people who want to know more, maybe about your campaign or otherwise, where can they go to learn more?
Thank you very much. My website is Debbie G for the digit 4 RNC.com. Debbie G for RNC.com. That is the website where there's much more information about me, my background, what I stand for, what I would do as a member of the RNC. Love to have you do that. You can follow me also on Twitter at Debbie Can We Talk. And our website will be very active, coming up with more of the things I think and the things we'll do. I also, for my talk show website, is americacanwetalk.org. If you go to americacanwetalk.org, you can see all my past shows, blog posts, interviews, and know much more about me.
Debbie, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Brandon, for having me. Thanks so much.
Thank you for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube, we'd love it if you'd go ahead and hit like, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you can be notified every time we have new content for you. For right now, I'm Brandon Waltons. Have a great weekend.
No ads, no paywalls, no government grants, and no corporate masters. Just real news for real Texans. This is Texas Scorecard.